For those of you who don't know, after months of waiting, I finally broke down and bought the Blackmagic full frame. Then immediately after that, Blackmagic decided to release an even better version of the camera that I now regret not buying. But before we even get into that, I want to show you how I've been using my Blackmagic full frame over the last few months. Some of the tweaks and deals that I've done with this rig build out that I actually really do enjoy. And of course, my thoughts on the PYXIS, because now, do I even keep this camera? What's going on, guys? Today we have a little bit of ground to cover because I've been working on this personalized camera build for the last few weeks, and I think I finally got all the pieces together. And I kind of want to give you who are interested in getting a Blackmagic the rundown of the stuff that I've been using with this camera, the problems that stuff solves, and some weird tech that you can add to this build to make it even better. I also want to go over some of the helpful things that I found around the ecosystem of this, as well as give you my thoughts on what the PYXIS is in comparison to a build out like this, and which one you may want to go for if you're considering both. And of course, I will leave all of this stuff linked in the description below. I also have a kit.co page now that I decided to just put all of the camera gear that I have, the gear that I use for my shoots, any recommendations that I may have for the stuff that you may need is all in that major link. So individual pieces will also be linked below, but if you want to see the full plethora of gear that I have, it's down in the description. But let's get into this thing. This is my Blackmagic full frame build. It is a weirdly shaped but awesome to use rig. I have it on a switch pod, and for the time being, let's get rid of that. I do like how this thing balances on the switch pod because this rig is a little front heavy, but when using it with this handle, it's actually like perfect. This is the center of gravity, so having this switch pod mounted right at the base of the lens actually works out flawlessly, but you're probably only gonna be able to do that with like cinema lenses. So let's get into what I have here. What I have here is the Blackmagic full frame 6K open gate goodness. I absolutely love this camera. It's been a very fun camera to use. I am currently using the Tilta cage with the top handle. I adore this top handle. This top handle makes the whole rig for me. Going back to my roots of when dealing with not such a heavy camera like the Ronin 4D, you definitely need the top handle to try to distribute that weight properly. And because of this camera's awkward shape that the PYXIS solves, I have done some minor things. One of the main things I wanted to do was, because I wanted to keep the back screen free, I finally have a flexible screen, so I didn't want to cover it up with a V-mount battery. I decided to go with a bottom mount battery. This is the Anton Bauer. I've had these things for years at this point. I put them in storage and I got it back out, and this has been perfect for this camera because it keeps the weight, you know, as close to the center as possible. But it would be even more balanced if there was a back mounted V-mount, but I would lose access to my screen, and I really do like having it be this build out. Now, of course, you could go with the Blackmagic's bottom mount battery. That actually works really well with the Tilta cage, and it gets a little tall, and I wanted to really be able to use tripod plates and everything that I can. And this is kind of a solid battery that I have. Very, very expensive. I think this might be the same price as getting the Blackmagic one, but this has been an awesome power solution for powering the camera and potentially even running the monitor. When it comes to focus, there are two variants that I have with this camera for focusing. The main one I'm going to show you is this Tilta side handle focus, which I love for when it comes to using cinema lenses and focusing with this. You know, you can get your hand under the lens, but what I have been doing recently that is the more expensive version of that is I have this motorized version of the Tilta side handle that pairs along with the Tilta Nano Nucleus. I don't know if it pairs with the two. I have the one. This thing is awesome because what you can do is, if I can get this right, you can put this as the side handle, and now when you're using this, it feels much easier to focus. So I can pull focus with a motorized focus wheel with using a handle like this, because this cage has this awesome mount at the very top of it. You can adjust it how you want to. I like to have my weight on it, but feels really, really good when I'm looking at the monitor, you know, and pulling focus with this quick focus. But that is the more expensive option. It is some more spare parts that I had laying around, but I really, really, really do like this version of the build. How I'm mounting the Tilta focus wheel is actually this awesome little rail system that I found on Amazon. It fits into a 1/4 screw mount. It's actually goated. Like, I couldn't properly figure out how to fit the follow focus onto this kind of rig, but the fact that you can put these rails anywhere just makes it for me, and it keeps it really, really low profile. Because that was one of my big goals for this rig. I wanted something that I didn't have to build out a lot, because this initially wasn't even going to be in my kit. This is my YouTube camera. Turns out that I like using this camera a lot, so I wanted a proper rig build for it. When it comes to the cables for this camera, I have this awesome 2-pin to D-tap cable that literally runs right into the side of the Blackmagic, right into the bottom of this V-mount. It's actually flawless. I got the coiled version, so it wraps around the body and I don't have to do any tying up. It still helps the camera sit relatively flat when it's on the tripod and doesn't get in the way. Yeah, 10 out of 10 I recommend the 2-pin to D-tap. Now, if you are considering a monitor to go with this camera, I know the camera has a 5-inch, pretty decent monitor on the back of it, but what I've been doing is I've been pairing it with the Ninja V. I have a monitor mount on the top of the handle, but of course it becomes really, really front heavy at that point. And this monitor isn't even bigger than what comes with the camera. So I've been really debating on if I want the Ninja V to pair with this. A 7-inch would kind of be too big, and it works. Like, I can go ahead and hook it up. And yeah, I mean, it's quick to remove, it still works. You're still pretty balanced with your top handle. And when it comes to powering the monitor, I'm using D-tap power for the monitor, so it still works with the same battery. I just have not been sold on the monitor yet. So I'm still trying to figure out the place with that, because it just seems a little bit redundant, right? Yeah, so you may want to forego the monitor. Truthfully, you don't really need it. This screen has been excellent. What I found that has been exceptionally helpful, because this is my first time using CF Express Type B cards, has been this thing. This is the PYXIS. This is a portable memory card reader. It's rugged. I keep this thing with me at all times now, because it helps me store all my memory cards as well as read these cards out in the field. I have a portable laptop that I keep on me whenever I travel for gaming, and this card got full from a full day shooting, and being able to just pull this thing out that we keep literally everywhere and have a great portable CF Express Type B reader is a game changer. I absolutely do love this thing. I'm gonna leave this link in the description as well. PYXIS sent this to me. They're gonna give you guys 10% off if you want to relatively buy this. I love this thing because you need a fast memory card reader when it comes to transferring these huge files. And rather than buying a random one that only read memory cards, I would have much rather have gotten, this one stores micro SD cards, stores CF Express Type B cards, random SD cards, has a SIM eject tool for your phone whenever you may need it. This thing is awesome, awesome, awesome. Cannot recommend this enough. And thank you, PYXIS, for remotely sending me this thing. Like, perfectly pairs with this Blackmagic. So yeah, that has been the rig that I've been working with. I've been pairing this Blackmagic a lot with these Blazar Remus lenses. I'm gonna talk about these next week or so. I cannot get enough of filming with this thing, and I'm hoping to get a lot more filming out of it. Speaking of that, the PYXIS released, and I haven't really been on top of everything, but I did watch NAV and consumed all the media, and it turns out Blackmagic has listened to a lot of the feedback and made a square body of one of their most popular cameras. The full frame version of the 6K is now in a box style camera, and here are my thoughts. This is not scripted, but it may not be for me as my main camera. It probably is the perfect interview solution because my FX3 right now is just a tripod camera, and I would love to have a full box solution built out for that. But then I gotta go through the process of selling it just to get the same thing when I have this already. I do like having the screen on the back of the camera. I really like having an accessible screen, and getting the PYXIS, one, having a side operational screen, it's fine, it's wonderful. I don't like the fact that I have to have an external monitor to view it, which means I didn't have to have the top handle, which means I didn't have to have a lot of ports and stuff. And there's gonna be more setup with that. I do love the fact that it comes with everything that I wanted in a Blackmagic camera, just kind of there. Now, it's missing ND filters. Obviously, it's a really cheap camera and it's really, really awesome for the price point. But personally, I don't believe I'm going to sell this camera to get the PYXIS. Literally, no difference for what I'm going to be using for. In fact, this is better for what I'm going to be using this Blackmagic for. This one actually just fits my need. I don't really have a big problem with the body's build out. As you see, it does cause me to create some weird solutions, but once you get past all that, it's fine. Having a square body is something none of my cameras have, because the Ronin 4D has one of the weirdest body shapes of all time. The Blackmagic has a weird body shape, and the FX3 is just small. So I don't think the square box is, such a huge thing, because people are going to find a way to complain about any and everything that they want to. But if it fits for you, 100% worth it. Go for it. I would love to get a PYXIS as my B cam. So if I get a PYXIS, I'm probably going to sell my FX30, and it'll either be the A cam or the B cam. But I would love to own an FX3, a PYXIS. This is my personal camera for the things that I like to shoot, YouTube, travel, all of that. This is the one I'm working with that. And then the Ronin 4D for all of my commercial stuff. That's kind of my thoughts around the PYXIS. I know I've been kind of like rambling, but I hadn't made a video on it, and I really needed to make a video updating on my situation with how I use this camera. And I figured I'd just include my thoughts on the PYXIS with this camera. But now you know what I think. I know you guys have been DMing me and stuff. It's an amazing camera. If you have it in your budget to get it and it solves the problems that you are presented with, then I say 100% go for it. Now, quick thing for those of you who have stayed this long in the video, I consider the fact that you may be interested in what I have to say. I'm going to be start doing coaching sessions and hosting coaching classes on gear, growing your video production business, or if you're interested in building a YouTube platform, I'm going to start doing that. If that's something you're into, shoot me an email, because I'm actually building out this platform right now. It's probably just going to be a Patreon, but we're going to start doing bi-weekly calls and creating a group of people. It's going to be very, very limited, and I'll make a video that really discusses and deep dives into that. But I really want to give back, and I really want to make you guys my client and help me grow and help me create these videos and things like that more consistently. So if that's something that you're interested in, like off rip, shoot me an email and I'll put you on the expedited list essentially, and it'll be first come, first serve. I think I'm only gonna allow maybe 20 to 30 people initially if possible, to try to keep this group tight and we can understand and you can help guide what this channel becomes, what you get from it, and I can kind of be a full-time service to you. And if you're looking to grow, if you're looking to quote unquote job shadow me, if you're wanting coaching or something like that, I can definitely help you with that. But with that all being said, that's all I have for you today, guys. So if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. And if you loved it, consider subscribing, because I'm bringing you more content just like this every week. So you guys stay safe, you're loved, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.